Have you ever wondered what secrets centenarians hold about living a long, vibrant life? What if the key to longevity wasn't hidden in expensive supplements or complicated health routines, but in something as simple as a cup of tea? Could ancient monks have discovered a formula for wellness that we've overlooked in our modern world? Today, we're unveiling a remarkable recipe that has been cherished in Buddhist monasteries for centuries, a special tea blend that monks credit for their exceptional health and longevity. This isn't just folklore or wishful thinking. This is a time-tested tradition backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science, and it's something you can easily incorporate into your daily routine starting today. Imagine beginning each morning with a warm, aromatic cup of tea that not only delights your senses, but also works quietly within your body to strengthen your immune system, reduce inflammation, improve your digestion, and potentially add years to your life. That's exactly what we're going to explore together in this video, a simple yet powerful beverage that monks have relied on for generations to maintain their vitality well into their hundreds. This journey we're about to embark on is more than just learning a recipe. It's about connecting with wisdom that has stood the test of time, understanding how nature provides us with incredible healing properties, and discovering practical ways to enhance our health and well-being. These 4 spices we'll discuss aren't exotic or hard to find. In fact, you might already have some of them in your kitchen right now. But when combined in the right way, they create something truly extraordinary. As we explore each of these 4 sacred spices, keep an open mind. Each ingredient has been carefully chosen for specific reasons, and each one brings unique benefits that contribute to overall longevity and wellness. We'll look at what modern research tells us about these spices, how they work together synergistically, and most importantly, how you can prepare this tea correctly to maximize its benefits. The monks who have preserved this tradition understand something profound, that true health comes from working with our bodies, not against them. They recognize that the simplest solutions are often the most effective, and that consistency matters more than complexity. This tea represents a philosophy of gentle, sustained nourishment, rather than quick fixes or dramatic interventions. We encourage you to watch this entire video from beginning to end. Each spice we reveal builds upon the previous one, and understanding all 4 ingredients along with their proper proportions and preparation methods is essential for creating this powerful longevity elixir. Missing even one component means you won't experience the full transformative potential of this ancient recipe. If you're committed to taking control of your health, to exploring natural pathways to wellness, and to discovering time-honored secrets that can genuinely improve your quality of life, then this video is for you. Please show your support by clicking the like button and subscribing to our Wisdom Diaries Life channel. By subscribing, you're not just helping us create more valuable content like this. You're joining a community of health-conscious individuals who are dedicated to living longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives through ancient wisdom and natural practices. When you subscribe and turn on notifications, you'll be the first to know about other powerful remedies, longevity secrets, and wellness practices from Buddhist tradition and other ancient cultures. You'll gain access to a treasure trove of practical knowledge that can transform your approach to health and aging. Ready to discover what these 4 remarkable spices are and how to prepare this life-extending tea? We promise you this isn't complicated, expensive, or time-consuming. It's beautifully simple, incredibly effective, and something you can start doing tomorrow morning. Let's begin this fascinating journey into the heart of monastic wisdom and unlock the secrets that have helped monks live exceptionally long, healthy lives for centuries. Cook with 3 minds. Sanshin. Mind 1. Joyful mind. Kishin. The first of the 3 essential minds that monks bring to cooking is Kishin, the joyful mind. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel happy or pretending to enjoy tasks you find tedious. It's about approaching the act of cooking from a foundation of genuine gratitude for having food to prepare, for having a body that can move and create, for having people to nourish, or even just yourself to care for. When you cook from this place of appreciation rather than obligation, something fundamental shifts in both the process and the outcome. The monks teach that joy in cooking isn't dependent on having perfect ingredients, an ideal kitchen, or even feeling particularly happy that day. Joyful mind means recognizing the inherent privilege and opportunity in being able to prepare food. In many parts of the world and throughout most of human history, having enough food to cook was itself a blessing. Having the time, tools, and knowledge to prepare it well was extraordinary. When you remember this context, even the simplest meal preparation becomes an occasion for genuine appreciation. There's a fascinating concept in monastery cooking called energy transfer theory. The idea is that the mental and emotional state you bring to cooking literally transfers into the food and affects those who eat it. While this might sound mystical, there's growing scientific evidence supporting aspects of this idea. Studies have shown that positive intention and focused attention from food preparers can measurably affect outcomes. Research in the field of psychoneuroimmunology has demonstrated that our emotional states influence everything from the bacteria on our skin to the chemistry of our saliva, both of which come into contact with food during preparation. One particularly intriguing study had participants prepare smoothies while in different emotional states, some while feeling grateful and joyful, others while feeling stressed or resentful. When these smoothies were consumed by people who didn't know which emotional state accompanied their preparation, those who drank the joyfully made smoothies reported feeling more satisfied and energized. While more research is needed, these preliminary findings suggest the monks may have understood something about consciousness and matter that science is only beginning to explore. Cultivating joyful mind doesn't require elaborate practices. It can be as simple as pausing before you begin cooking to recall one thing you're grateful for related to the meal you're about to prepare. Maybe it's gratitude for the farmers who grew the vegetables, for your grandmother who taught you this recipe, for the paycheck that allowed you to buy these ingredients, or simply for your functioning hands that can chop and stir. This brief moment of appreciation sets a foundation that naturally generates more joy throughout the cooking process. Mind 2. Parental mind, Roshin. The second essential mind is Roshin, the parental mind. This means cooking with the same care, attention, and unconditional love that a parent brings to nourishing their only child. Even if you don't have children, you can understand this quality. It's the impulse to give the very best you have, to pay close attention to what's needed, to take no shortcuts when it comes to the well-being of someone you love completely. When monks speak of cooking with parental mind, they're teaching you to treat each meal as if you're preparing it for the most precious person in your life. And here's the profound twist: often that person is you. Many people cook with great care when preparing food for guests or loved ones, but throw together whatever's quick and easy when eating alone. Parental mind asks, why do you deserve less care than you'd give others? Why is nourishing yourself less important than nourishing anyone else? The only child metaphor is particularly powerful. Imagine you have only one child, and everything you feed them directly impacts their health, energy, mood, and development. You wouldn't carelessly reheat processed food or feed them ingredients you know are of poor quality. You'd pay attention to whether they're getting enough vegetables, whether the meal is balanced, whether the portions are appropriate. You'd notice if they seemed tired or unwell, and adjust their food accordingly. This is exactly how monastery cooks approach every meal, with that level of attentive care. Love, in the monastery teaching, is understood as an active force rather than just an emotion. When you cook with love, you're not necessarily feeling warm and fuzzy or making choices that demonstrate care. You're washing vegetables thoroughly instead of rushing through it. You're cutting ingredients to appropriate sizes so they cook evenly. You're tasting and adjusting seasoning so the food is properly flavored. You're timing things so everything finishes at the optimal moment. These practical acts of attention are love made visible. There's something transformative that happens when you consistently cook for yourself with the same care you'd use cooking for a beloved child or honored guest. You start to internalize the message that you matter, that your well-being is important, that you're worthy of nourishment prepared with attention and care. People who begin practicing parental mind in their cooking often report broader shifts in self-care. They sleep better, exercise more consistently, set healthier boundaries in relationships. The kitchen becomes where you practice loving yourself, and that practice radiates outward into all areas of life. Nurturing through nourishment is one of the most primal forms of care. When you prepare food with parental mind, you're participating in an act that connects you to every caregiver throughout human history who has lovingly prepared sustenance for someone they care for. You're tapping into something ancient and powerful in the human experience. Even if you're just making yourself a simple bowl of rice and vegetables, doing it with parental mind transforms it into an act of profound self-love and respect. Mind 3. Magnanimous mind, Daishin. The third essential mind is Daishin, the magnanimous mind, vast, spacious, and unshakable. This is the quality that allows you to accept whatever arises in the kitchen without complaint or agitation. The vegetables you bought are starting to wilt. Work with what you have. You're missing an ingredient the recipe calls for. Adapt creatively. Something burns, falls on the floor, or doesn't turn out as you envisioned. Meet the situation with calm acceptance and problem-solving rather than frustration. Magnanimous mind doesn't mean being passive or accepting mediocrity. It means having the emotional spaciousness to respond to challenges skillfully rather than reactively. In the monastery kitchen, things go wrong regularly. Ingredients spoil, equipment breaks, dishes don't turn out as planned. The cook with magnanimous mind doesn't waste energy on complaint or self-criticism. They simply assess the situation clearly and take the next appropriate action. This quality is particularly important when working with what you have, rather than always seeking ideal conditions. The magnanimous mind sees every limitation as an opportunity for creativity. You don't have access to exotic ingredients. The vegetables growing in your region are perfectly adequate for creating nourishing meals. You have a small kitchen with basic tools. These constraints can actually enhance your skills by requiring you to be more resourceful and attentive. The cook with magnanimous mind doesn't postpone cooking well until conditions are perfect. They cook well within whatever conditions exist. Calm in kitchen chaos is perhaps the most practical expression of magnanimous mind. Picture a monastery kitchen during preparation for a large gathering, multiple dishes being prepared simultaneously, many hands involved, time pressure building. The cook with magnanimous mind maintains inner spaciousness even amid external intensity. They don't transfer their stress to others through sharp words or tense energy. They remain a calm center around which the kitchen activity flows smoothly. Developing magnanimous mind transforms kitchen challenges from sources of stress into opportunities for growth. When you drop something, instead of cursing yourself, you simply clean it up and continue. When timing goes wrong and parts of the meal aren't ready simultaneously, you adapt the serving approach rather than spiraling into self-judgment. This emotional resilience developed through cooking practice naturally extends into how you handle difficulties in all areas of life. Meditation practice. Before beginning to cook, try this simple breathing exercise to align with the three minds. Stand in your kitchen and take 3 slow, deep breaths. With the first breath, call to mind something that generates gratitude. This cultivates joyful mind. With the second breath, think of someone you love deeply and imagine you're cooking for them. Even if you're actually cooking for yourself, this cultivates parental mind. With the third breath, acknowledge that things may not go exactly as planned and commit to meeting whatever arises with grace. This cultivates magnanimous mind. You might set a simple intention before cooking, spoken aloud or silently. May this food nourish and heal. May I cook with joy, love, and peace. This isn't religious in nature, it's simply a way of consciously choosing the energy you bring to the task. Some people find it helpful to have a specific phrase they use each time they cook, creating a ritual that signals to their mind and body. We're entering a mindful, intentional space now. After cooking and eating, take a moment for reflection. How did you embody the three minds during this cooking session? Where did you succeed? Where did you struggle? This isn't about judgment, but about awareness and gradual cultivation. Perhaps today you managed joyful mind, but found yourself becoming impatient when things didn't go smoothly, indicating magnanimous mind needs development. This reflection helps you grow in your practice over time. Measurable outcomes. The effects of cooking with the three minds aren't just philosophical, they're tangible and observable. People who adopt this practice consistently report that food simply tastes better. Family members notice differences, even when the same recipes are used. There's something about food prepared with genuine care, attention, and positive energy that affects flavor in ways we're still working to understand scientifically. The attention to detail that comes with parental mind, the relaxation that comes with joyful mind, and the adaptability that comes with magnanimous mind all contribute to better cooking outcomes. Stress reduction while cooking is one of the most immediate benefits. When you approach cooking as a practice of the three minds rather than just a task to complete, the entire experience shifts. The kitchen becomes a refuge rather than a source of pressure. People report actually looking forward to cooking time as a break from the mental chatter and demands of the day. The focused, intentional quality of cooking with the three minds creates what psychologists call a flow state, that optimal experience where you're fully engaged and time seems to disappear. Perhaps most remarkably, many people report transformation in family relationships through this practice. When you cook with genuine love and care, people feel it. When you bring calm rather than stress to meal preparation, it affects the entire household atmosphere. Children become more interested in helping with cooking when they sense it's being approached with joy rather than resentment. Partners feel more appreciated when meals are prepared with parental mind's attentive care. The three minds practice in the kitchen radiates outward, improving the emotional climate of the entire home. The four-spice immortal monk tea as sacred ritual. Tea in monastery life occupies a unique space between medicine, ritual, and daily practice. For over 1,000 years, monasteries across Asia have maintained tea traditions that go far beyond simple beverage consumption. Tea became intertwined with contemplative life because its effects gentle alertness without agitation, warmth without heaviness, clarity without overstimulation perfectly supported the demands of intensive meditation and study. The caffeine in tea provided enough stimulation to maintain wakefulness during long meditation sessions, while the L-theanine created a calm, focused mental state ideal for contemplation. The historical significance of tea in monasteries cannot be overstated. In many traditions, the monastery tea master held a position of great responsibility and respect. This wasn't someone who simply prepared beverages, they were guardians of health, cultivators of community, and practitioners of a healing art. The tea master understood not just how to prepare tea, but which herbs and spices to combine for different seasons, different health conditions, and different stages of practice. They maintained gardens of medicinal plants, aged and blended ingredients with precision, and passed their knowledge to carefully selected students. There's an important distinction between formal tea ceremony and daily tea practice in monastic life. Tea ceremony, as practiced in Japanese Zen tradition, is a highly refined ritual with specific movements, utensils, and aesthetic principles. It's a form of moving meditation where every gesture carries meaning and the preparation and consumption of tea becomes a complete spiritual practice. This ceremonial approach is beautiful and valuable, but it's practiced relatively infrequently during special occasions, for honored guests, or as dedicated training. Daily tea practice, by contrast, is simpler and more accessible. This is the tea that monks prepare each morning and evening, often in large pots that serve the entire community. The preparation is straightforward, the setting informal, yet the tea is approached with the same reverence and attention that characterizes all monastery activities. It's this daily practice tradition that the four-spice tea belongs to, practical, health-focused, and sustainable as a lifelong habit rather than an occasional ritual. Tibetan and Zen tea traditions, while sharing common roots, develop differently based on climate, available ingredients, and cultural influences. Tibetan monastery tea often includes butter and salt, creating a rich, nourishing beverage suited to the harsh, cold climate of high altitudes. The yak butter provides crucial calories and fats, while the salt replaces minerals lost through exertion in the thin mountain air. Zen monastery tea in Japan tends towards simplicity and subtlety, often just pure green tea or tea with minimal additions, reflecting the aesthetic of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in simplicity and imperfection. The four-spice tea we're exploring draws primarily from traditions that emerged in regions where these spices grew naturally or were readily available through trade areas of India, Nepal, China, and Southeast Asia. In these regions, monasteries developed sophisticated understanding of how spices could enhance both the flavor and medicinal properties of tea. They observed over generations which combinations supported health, which promoted longevity, and which created the optimal mental and physical state for contemplative practice. What to expect follows a fairly predictable timeline for most people, though individual variation is significant. Days 1 through 3 often involve some adjustment. You might feel slightly different as your body responds to the new spices, or you might not notice much change at all yet. Days 4 through 7 typically bring the first clear benefits: improved digestion, more stable energy, perhaps better sleep. Week 2 often includes what some call a healing crisis, where you might feel slightly worse for a few days as your body begins deeper detoxification and adjustment. This passes quickly. Weeks 3 and 4 are when the real transformation becomes undeniable: a clearer skin, sustained energy without crashes, reduced inflammation and pain, mental clarity, emotional balance, and a sense of vitality that might have been missing for years. Tracking progress methods don't need to be complicated. A simple journal where you note each day whether you drank your tea, how you slept, your energy levels on a scale of 1 to 10, any digestive issues or improvements, mood, and any other observations is sufficient. Taking a few minutes each evening to reflect and record creates valuable data that helps you see patterns and progress that might not be obvious day to day. Some people also find it helpful to take a photo at the beginning and end of the 30 days. Changes in skin clarity, facial puffiness, and even subtle shifts in expression often show up visually. Common obstacles include time pressure, forgetting to prepare tea, family resistance to changes, experiencing detox symptoms, and wanting to quit when immediate results aren't dramatic. Solutions are straightforward. Prepare your tea station the night before. Morning preparation takes just minutes. Set a phone reminder until the habit is established. Invite family members to try the tea and explain why it matters to you without forcing them to participate. Understand that temporary discomfort often precedes breakthrough, and remember that real health transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. 30 days is just the beginning of a lifelong practice, not a quick fix that ends on day 31. Final wisdom from the monastery: the true secret to longevity that monks have preserved for centuries isn't found in any single herb, spice, or dietary rule. It's found in the integration of all these practices into a coherent way of life that honors the deep connection between what we eat, how we prepare it, and why we're alive. The tea is medicine, yes, but so is the attention you bring to chopping vegetables. The fasting period supports metabolic health, yes, but it also cultivates discipline and freedom from constant consumption. The real secret is that there are no shortcuts, only consistent, mindful practice over time. The mind-body-spirit connection isn't just philosophical poetry, it's the practical reality that your thoughts affect your digestion, your food choices affect your emotions, and your sense of purpose influences every cell in your body. When you prepare your morning tea with gratitude, you're not just consuming beneficial compounds, you're reinforcing neural pathways of appreciation that reduce stress hormones and support immune function. When you cook with the three minds, you're not just making dinner, you're practicing being present, loving, and accepting in ways that extend far beyond the kitchen into every relationship and challenge you face. Simplicity as sophistication means recognizing that the most powerful health practices aren't complicated or expensive. They're simple, accessible, and rooted in timeless wisdom. 4 spices, hot water, and 15 minutes each morning. Treating ingredients with respect. Eating earlier in the day. These practices cost almost nothing in money but everything in attention and consistency. Modern culture convinces us that health requires expensive supplements, complex protocols, and expert guidance. The monastery teaching reveals that profound transformation comes from simple practices done with wholehearted commitment. Starting today, not tomorrow, is the only way anything ever changes. Tomorrow is always tomorrow, never actually arrives. If this information has spoken to you, if something in these teachings resonates as true and valuable, then the time to begin is right now, today, with your very next meal or your tea tomorrow morning. Don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, or until you've acquired every ideal ingredient. Start with what you have, where you are, and let the practice evolve naturally. The monks didn't wait for enlightenment before they began practicing. They began practicing, and enlightenment emerged from the practice itself. Practical next steps. Shopping list summary for beginning your practice immediately. Ceylon cinnamon sticks or powder, fresh ginger root or dried ginger, green cardamom pods, holy basil leaves or whole cloves, raw honey optional, fresh lemons or limes optional. If possible, choose organic for everything, but don't let lack of organic options stop you from starting. These spices are available at most grocery stores, health food stores, or online. For best results, buy from stores with high turnover and specialty spice shops if available in your area. Start with small quantities. You can always buy more once you're committed to the practice. Equipment needed is truly minimal, which is part of the beauty of this practice. A kettle or pot for heating water, a teapot or a second small pot for steeping, a fine mesh strainer, a mortar and pestle or simply a knife for crushing spices, a cup you enjoy drinking from, and airtight containers for storing spices. You might already have everything you need. If you want to enhance your practice, consider a good quality thermos to keep tea warm for hours, a special teacup that makes the ritual feel more meaningful, or a small notebook for tracking your observations. But none of these extras are necessary. You can begin with what's in your kitchen right now. Free resources and guides to support your journey are available through our community. Look in the video description for links to downloadable shopping lists, weekly meal planners organized by the 5 colors, printable journal pages for tracking your 30-day challenge, and additional recipes using the monastery kitchen principles. We've also created guides for troubleshooting common issues, adjusting the tea formula for specific health conditions, and adapting these practices for different dietary needs and restrictions. All of these resources are free because we believe this wisdom should be accessible to everyone, not just those who can afford expensive programs. Community support invitation extends to everyone watching this video. You don't have to do this alone. Join the conversation in the comments section where people from around the world are sharing their experiences with these practices, asking questions, and supporting each other's journeys. Share your own progress, challenges, and insights. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you're on social media, use the hashtag we've created for this community so we can all learn from and encourage each other. Real transformation happens in community, not isolation, and we're building something special here. Thank you for investing this time in learning these ancient practices that have supported human health and longevity for centuries. The fact that you've watched this far tells us you're serious about transforming your health and your relationship with food. That commitment matters more than any technique or recipes, the foundation everything else builds on. We're honored to share this wisdom with you and to be part of your journey toward greater vitality and well-being. We genuinely want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell us which of these practices resonates most strongly with you. Ask questions about anything that's unclear. Share where in the world you're watching from, and what food traditions from your own culture align with these monastery principles. Your engagement helps this wisdom reach more people who need it, and it helps us create better content that serves your actual needs and interests. If you found value in this video, please subscribe to our Wisdom Diaries channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our new content. We're committed to bringing you more ancient wisdom adapted for modern life, practical teachings that actually work rather than empty inspiration that sounds good but changes nothing. Every subscription tells us this work matters and helps us reach more people seeking genuine transformation. May the simple practice of preparing and drinking this tea each morning connect you more deeply to yourself, to the nourishment the earth provides, and to the timeless wisdom that supports human flourishing across all cultures and centuries. May you discover that health isn't complicated or expensive. It's a daily choice to honor your body with attention, quality ingredients, and practices rooted in reverence for life itself. Start tomorrow morning. Start today if you can. Just start, and trust that consistent practice will reveal benefits beyond anything words can capture. Authentic sources: Tenzo Kyokun, Instructions for the Cook, by Master Dogen. Shojin Ryori Tradition Records on Buddhist Temple Cuisine, Tibetan Buddhist Medicine Herbal Guides, and the Chanyuan Chingui. Check out this traditional Shojin Ryori guide to see how these herbs are combined in a daily ritual for natural healing. This video is relevant because it demonstrates the specific herbs monks add to their daily tea to support the body's self-healing systems, as discussed in the research. Spice 3. Cardamom, the nervous system, balancer, Himalayan monastic tradition. In monasteries perched high in the Himalayan mountains, where the air is thin and temperatures plunge below freezing for months each year, cardamom has been a staple ingredient in the daily tea for centuries. The monks in these harsh environments observed that cardamom provided crucial benefits beyond simple flavoring. It helped them breathe more easily in the thin mountain air, warmed them from within during freezing meditation sessions, and supported the calm mental clarity essential for their contemplative practice. The traditional description of cardamom as a phlegm-clearing herb might sound antiquated, but it describes real respiratory benefits that modern science is beginning to understand. At high altitudes, the body produces more mucus as a protective response to dry air and breathing challenges. Cardamom's aromatic compounds help thin this mucus, making breathing easier and preventing the congestion that can impair meditation and sleep. Even at normal altitudes, many people find cardamom helpful for respiratory clarity, especially during seasons when air quality is poor or allergies create congestion. Nervous system regulation is perhaps cardamom's most valuable but least recognized gift. While ginger energizes and cinnamon warms, cardamom calms without sedating. It creates a state of relaxed alertness that's ideal for any activity requiring both focus and tranquility: meditation, study, creative work, or simply moving through your day without being knocked off center by every stressor. The monks recognized this quality and made cardamom central to their daily practice, understanding that maintaining equanimity amid the challenges of monastic life required support for the nervous system. The particular genius of including cardamom in a tea with warming spices like ginger and cinnamon is that it prevents overstimulation. While the other spices activate and energize, cardamom moderates these effects, ensuring the tea provides vitality without agitation. This balancing act allows you to drink the tea in the morning for energy without getting jittery, or in the evening for gentle warmth without interfering with sleep. Cardamom essentially makes the formula appropriate for all constitutions and all times of day. Modern science. Essential oil composition in cardamom is remarkably complex, with over 100 volatile compounds identified. The major constituents include cineol, which has anti-inflammatory and bronchodilating effects, alpha-terpineol, which has relaxing properties, and limonene, which supports detoxification and has mood-elevating effects. These oils aren't isolated in nature but work synergistically, creating effects that no single compound could produce alone. The essential oil content is highest in green cardamom pods and decreases with age and improper storage. Adaptogenic properties of cardamom are increasingly recognized by researchers, though it's not traditionally classified as one of the classic adaptogens. An adaptogen is a substance that helps the body adapt to stress, supporting homeostasis and resilience without forcing the body in any particular direction. Cardamom appears to have these qualities. It can be calming when you're agitated, but doesn't make you drowsy. It can be energizing when you're depleted, but doesn't overstimulate. This bidirectional regulation is characteristic of adaptogens and makes cardamom incredibly valuable for daily use. Respiratory benefits go beyond simple decongestant effects. Research shows cardamom has bronchodilating properties. It helps relax the airways, making breathing easier. This is particularly valuable for people with asthma or other respiratory conditions, though it's not a replacement for prescribed medications. The antispasmodic effects help reduce coughing and the tightness in the chest that can accompany respiratory infections. The antimicrobial properties may help protect against respiratory pathogens, though more research is needed in this area. Digestive enzyme stimulation is another well-documented benefit of cardamom. Like ginger, cardamom enhances the secretion of digestive juice, saliva, gastric acid, and intestinal enzymes that break down food. But cardamom also has carminative properties, meaning it helps prevent and relieve gas and bloating. It's particularly effective for the uncomfortable distension that can occur after meals, especially meals containing beans or cruciferous vegetables. The combination of improved digestion and reduced gas makes cardamom valuable for anyone with sensitive digestion or conditions like irritable bowel syndrome. Mental health benefits. Anxiety reduction from cardamom consumption is supported both by traditional use and emerging research. Several studies have found that cardamom extract has anxiolytic effects comparable to some pharmaceutical anxiety medications, but without side effects like sedation or dependency. The mechanisms appear to involve modulation of neurotransmitter systems, particularly GABA, which is the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. Daily cardamom consumption may help reduce baseline anxiety levels, making you more resilient to stressors and less prone to anxiety spirals. Mood enhancement effects are subtler than those of cardamom's anti-anxiety properties, but no less valuable. People who regularly consume cardamom often report feeling more emotionally balanced, with fewer dramatic mood swings and a generally more positive baseline mood. Some research suggests this may relate to cardamom's effects on serotonin and dopamine systems. The aromatic compounds also have uplifting quality. Simply smelling cardamom can brighten mood, which is why aromatherapy often incorporates cardamom essential oil. Cognitive support from cardamom includes improvements in memory, focus, and mental clarity. Research is still preliminary, but studies on animals have shown that cardamom extracts improve learning and memory performance, possibly by reducing oxidative stress in brain tissue and supporting healthy neurotransmitter function. Human users report that cardamom helps with the kind of scattered thinking and mental fog that makes it hard to concentrate or remember things. The calm alertness it produces appears ideal for cognitive tasks requiring sustained attention. Sleep quality improvement might seem contradictory given that cardamom doesn't act as a sedative, but many people find that regular cardamom consumption helps them sleep better. This likely relates to its anxiety-reducing effects. When you're less anxious, you fall asleep more easily and sleep more soundly. Cardamom's digestive benefits also contribute, as indigestion is a common cause of sleep disruption. The gentle nervous system balancing may help regulate the sleep-wake cycle, supporting your body's natural circadian rhythms. Drinking cardamom tea in the evening appears to promote restful sleep without causing grogginess the next morning. Preparation secrets. Green versus black cardamom are different species with distinct properties and uses. Green cardamom is the variety used in the longevity tea and in most culinary applications. It has a bright, complex flavor with notes of eucalyptus and subtle sweetness. Black cardamom is larger, has a smoky, camphor-like flavor, and is used primarily in savory dishes. For health purposes and daily tea, green cardamom is the clear choice. It's more pleasant tasting, has higher essential oil content, and has been more extensively studied for its health benefits. Crushing pods versus using seeds affects flavor, potency, and convenience. Whole cardamom pods contain seeds clustered inside. The pods themselves contribute subtle flavor, but the real potency is in the seeds. Crushing whole pods lightly before steeping releases essential oils while keeping the seeds contained, preventing them from dispersing throughout the tea. This gives you full flavor and benefit while keeping the seeds from ending up in your cup. Some people prefer to remove seeds from pods entirely and crush just the seeds, which creates maximum extraction but can make the tea slightly gritty. Optimal steeping methods for cardamom involve some advanced preparation for best results. Lightly crushing pods just enough to crack them and release the seed should be done shortly before steeping to preserve the volatile oils. Add the crushed pods to water that's just off boiling, not actively boiling, as excessive heat can drive off some of the delicate aromatic compounds. Steep for at least 10 minutes to fully extract the beneficial compounds. Longer steeping, up to 20 minutes, extracts more but can create slightly bitter notes from the pods themselves. Flavor profile maximization requires understanding that cardamom's flavor develops and changes during steeping. The initial extraction gives bright, top notes the immediate floral and eucalyptus characteristics. Longer steeping extracts deeper, warmer, sweeter notes. If you're combining cardamom with other spices, adding it toward the middle of the preparation rather than at the beginning can preserve more of its delicate aromatic qualities. Some people like to add a couple of fresh crushed pods to their tea just before serving to capture both the fully extracted depth and the bright fresh notes. Therapeutic applications. Specific health conditions that particularly benefit from cardamom include digestive disorders like irritable bowel syndrome, gastritis, and bloating. The antispasmodic effects help calm intestinal cramping, while the carminative properties reduce gas. Respiratory conditions including asthma, bronchitis, and chronic cough may improve with regular cardamom consumption, though it should complement rather than replace medical treatment. Anxiety disorders and stress-related conditions often respond well to cardamom's nervine properties. Bad breath and oral health issues benefit from cardamom's antimicrobial effects, and fresh flavor-chewing cardamom pods after meals is a traditional practice for oral hygiene. Complementary pairings enhance cardamom's effects. With ginger, cardamom creates a balanced formula that's warming but not overstimulating, energizing but not anxiety-inducing. With cinnamon, cardamom moderates the intensity while enhancing the overall aromatic appeal. With black pepper, which isn't in this formula but is worth mentioning, cardamom's bioavailability increases significantly. Fennel seeds combine beautifully with cardamom for digestive support. Turmeric and cardamom together create powerful anti-inflammatory effects, while the cardamom makes the turmeric more palatable. Dosage for different needs varies based on what you're addressing. For general health maintenance and the balancing effects in daily tea, 3 to 5 cardamom pods per cup is appropriate. For acute digestive upset or anxiety, you might use 6 to 8 pods in a more concentrated preparation. For respiratory support during illness, stronger cardamom tea consumed 3 to 4 times daily can be helpful. As with all the spices in this formula, start with moderate amounts and adjust based on your individual response. Some people are very sensitive to cardamom and find that even small amounts have strong effects, while others can use larger quantities without any issues. Spice 4. Holy basil, cloves, the blood purifier, the dual option. The fourth position in the monastery tea formula offers flexibility between two powerful herbs, holy basil, known as tulsi, and cloves. Both serve similar functions in the tea, providing immune support, anti-inflammatory effects, and what traditional medicine calls blood purification. The choice between them depends on availability, personal preference, specific health needs, and sometimes simply which one you're drawn to. Some practitioners alternate between the two, using each for periods of time, while others develop a clear preference and stick with it. Holy basil tends to be the preferred option in monasteries where it grows abundantly, particularly in India and Southeast Asia. Its adaptogenic properties make it especially valuable for those dealing with chronic stress or seeking deeper nervous system support beyond what cardamom alone provides. Cloves are often the choice in regions where holy basil is harder to obtain, or during times when their stronger antimicrobial properties are particularly needed, such as during cold and flu season or when dealing with dental issues. When to use which can be determined by several factors. If you're primarily seeking stress adaptation, mental clarity, and immune support with a gentler approach, holy basil is ideal. If you're dealing with acute infection, significant inflammation, or dental pain, cloves' more intense antimicrobial and analgesic properties make them the better choice. If you have access to both, you might use holy basil as your daily staple most of the year and switch to cloves during winter months or when you feel illness coming on. Some advanced practitioners actually use both in combination, creating a 5-spice tea that combines all the benefits. This isn't traditional in most lineages, but experimentation is encouraged as long as you're paying attention to effects. If using both, reduce the amount of each proportionally so the total 4th spice content remains similar to using one alone. The combination creates a complex flavor profile and potentially broader therapeutic effects, though it's by no means necessary either holy basil or cloves alone completes the formula beautifully. Holy basil, Tulsi. Sacred plant significance in Hindu and Buddhist traditions has given Tulsi a special status that goes beyond its medicinal properties. Though the reverence isn't unfounded, the health benefits are remarkable. Tulsi is considered the queen of herbs in Ayurvedic medicine, used for everything from fever to digestive complaints to spiritual purification. Monasteries often maintain Tulsi gardens, and the plant is tended with special care. While you don't need to adopt these traditional attitudes to benefit from Tulsi, understanding its honored place in healing traditions helps explain why it's been so extensively studied and used. Adaptogenic classification places holy basil alongside ashwagandha, rhodiola, and ginseng as plants that help the body adapt to stress. Research confirms Tulsi's adaptogenic properties. It helps normalize cortisol levels when they're elevated by chronic stress, supports resilience to physical and mental stresses, and helps maintain homeostasis across multiple body systems. Unlike stimulants that force a particular response, adaptogens support your body's own regulatory mechanisms, helping you respond appropriately to whatever demands you face. Stress hormone regulation is one of Tulsi's most valuable modern benefits. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, which over time damages nearly every system in the body, suppressing immunity, disrupting sleep, promoting weight gain around the midsection, impairing memory, and accelerating aging. Studies show that daily Tulsi consumption can reduce cortisol levels and buffer the stress response, making you more resilient to daily challenges. People who drink Tulsi tea regularly often report feeling less reactive to stressors and more able to maintain calm under pressure. Immune modulation from Tulsi is sophisticated and bidirectional. Rather than simply boosting or suppressing the immune system, Tulsi helps regulate enhancing response to infections and cancer cells while reducing overreaction that causes allergies and autoimmune issues. Research has demonstrated Tulsi's ability to increase antibody production, enhance natural killer cell activity, and support the various branches of immune function. During cold and flu season, daily Tulsi can help prevent illness, and when taken at the first signs of infection, it may reduce severity and duration. Cloves. Eugenol compound benefits are central to understanding cloves' therapeutic effects. Eugenol, the primary active constituent in cloves, is a phenolic compound with powerful properties. It's responsible for cloves' distinctive aroma and much of their medicinal action. Eugenol has analgesic effects comparable to some pharmaceutical pain relievers, antimicrobial activity against a broad spectrum of bacteria and fungi, anti-inflammatory effects that reduce pain and swelling, and antioxidant properties that protect cells from damage. Anti-inflammatory power in cloves is particularly impressive. Research shows that eugenol and other compounds in cloves inhibit inflammatory pathways with potency that rivals pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory drugs. This makes cloves valuable for any condition involving inflammation, arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, cardiovascular disease, and even neuroinflammation associated with cognitive decline. The anti-inflammatory effects are both immediate and cumulative, providing some relief shortly after consumption while building long-term protection with regular use. Antimicrobial properties of cloves are well documented and broad-spectrum. Clove oil is one of the most powerful natural antimicrobials, effective against bacteria that cause food poisoning, dental infections, and respiratory illness. It also has antiviral and antifungal properties. While you won't get the concentrated effects of pure clove oil from drinking tea, Regular consumption does provide systemic antimicrobial support that can help prevent infections and may speed recovery when illness does occur. The antimicrobial compounds reach high concentrations in saliva, making clove tea particularly beneficial for oral health. Pain relief qualities make cloves famous for dental pain. Clove oil is a traditional emergency treatment for toothaches and is still used in some dental preparations. But cloves' analgesic effects aren't limited to dental applications. They can provide relief from headaches, muscle pain, joint pain, and various other types of discomfort. The mechanism involves both reducing inflammation that causes pain and directly affecting pain nerve pathways. While tea won't provide the immediate intense relief of concentrated clove oil applied topically, regular consumption may reduce chronic pain levels over time. Blood purification concept. Traditional medicine perspective on blood purification doesn't align precisely with modern medical concepts, but it describes real phenomena in terms that made sense within traditional frameworks. When traditional practitioners spoke of purifying the blood, they were observing that certain herbs helped clear skin conditions, reduced systemic inflammation, improved liver function, and enhanced overall vitality. All effects we now understand through the lens of antioxidant activity, immune function, and detoxification pathways. Modern detoxification understanding recognizes that the body has sophisticated systems for removing metabolic waste and environmental toxins, primarily the liver, kidneys, lymphatic system, and digestive tract. Herbs, traditionally called blood purifiers, don't magically clean the blood, but they often support these detoxification organs and pathways. Holy basil and cloves both support liver function, enhance antioxidant defenses that protect cells from toxic damage, and may support the elimination of metabolic waste products. Liver support mechanisms are particularly relevant to the blood purification concept. The liver processes everything absorbed from the digestive tract, neutralizes toxins, metabolizes hormones, and produces substances essential for health. Holy basil has been shown to protect liver cells from damage, support the production of detoxification enzymes, and help the liver regenerate after injury. Cloves contain compounds that reduce liver inflammation and may protect against fatty liver disease. Supporting optimal liver function has cascading benefits throughout the body, including clearer skin, better energy, improved digestion, and enhanced immunity. Usage guidelines. Fresh versus dried holy basil each have their place depending on access and preference. Fresh tulsi leaves have a brighter, more aromatic flavor and slightly higher levels of some volatile compounds. If you have access to fresh tulsi, either growing it yourself or finding it at specialty markets, using fresh leaves in tea is wonderful. Use about 8 to 10 fresh leaves per cup, added toward the end of steeping to preserve their delicate aromatics. Dried tulsi is more concentrated, stores better, and is more widely available. Use about 1 teaspoon of dried leaves per cup. Both forms provide significant therapeutic benefits. Whole versus ground cloves affect extraction and flavor intensity. Whole cloves release their beneficial compounds more slowly, creating a gentler, more gradual flavor that develops during steeping. They're also easier to strain out and less likely to make the tea gritty. Ground cloves extract very quickly and completely, providing maximum medicinal benefit but potentially creating an overpowering flavor if not used carefully. For daily tea, whole cloves are generally preferable. Use 4 to 6 whole cloves per cup. If using ground cloves, a pinch to 1/8 teaspoon is usually sufficient. Infusion techniques for maximizing benefit while maintaining pleasant flavor require some attention. For holy basil, adding it after other spices have steeped for a while preserves more of its delicate aromatic compounds. Steep for 5 to 10 minutes after adding the tulsi. For cloves, adding them from the beginning and simmering gently for 10 to 15 minutes extracts beneficial compounds thoroughly. If the flavor becomes too intense, you can remove the cloves partway through steeping. Both tulsi and cloves benefit from being crushed lightly before steeping to release their oils and compounds. Combining both options creates what some consider the ultimate version of the tea. 5 spices instead of 4. If you choose this approach, Use about half the usual amount of each to avoid overwhelming flavor and excessive medicinal effects. So instead of 8 tulsi leaves or 6 cloves, you might use 4 tulsi leaves and 3 cloves. This combination provides the stress-adaptive benefits of tulsi alongside the powerful antimicrobial and pain-relieving properties of cloves, creating comprehensive support for multiple health needs simultaneously. The complete tea formula. The master recipe. Here is the exact recipe that has supported longevity and vitality in monastery kitchens for generations. For 1 large cup or 2 smaller servings, you will need the following proportions: fresh ginger, 1 inch of root sliced or grated, or 1 teaspoon of dried ginger; Ceylon cinnamon, 1 3-inch stick or ½ teaspoon of powder; green cardamom pods, 4 to 6 pods lightly crushed, and either 8 to 10 fresh tulsi leaves, or 1 teaspoon dried tulsi, or 4 to 6 whole cloves. These proportions create a balanced tea where no single spice dominates, but all work together harmoniously. Water temperature and quality matter more than most people realize. Use filtered or spring water. If possible, chlorine and other chemicals in tap water can interfere with the extraction of beneficial compounds and affect flavor. Heat water to just below boiling, around 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Actively boiling water can drive off some of the delicate volatile compounds in the spices, while water that's too cool won't extract the beneficial constituents fully. If you don't have a thermometer, bring water to a full boil, then let it rest for about 30 seconds before pouring over the spices. Steeping time should be 10 to 15 minutes for optimal extraction. Less time won't fully extract the medicinal compounds, while much longer doesn't significantly increase benefits and may extract bitter compounds from spices like cinnamon. If you're in a rush, even 5 minutes will provide some benefit, but the full therapeutic effect comes from adequate steeping time. Some people prefer to actually simmer the tea gently for 10 minutes rather than just steeping, which extracts more completely, especially from harder spices like cinnamon sticks and whole cloves. Serving size can be adjusted based on your needs and preferences. The recipe as given makes about 12 to 16 ounces of concentrated tea. Some people drink this full amount in the morning as their primary beverage. Others divide it into 2 servings, drinking 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon or evening. You can also make a larger batch, triple or quadruple the recipe, and store it in a glass jar in the refrigerator for up to 3 days, reheating individual servings as needed. The tea actually develops more complex flavor after sitting for several hours as the compounds continue to meld. Preparation method. Step-by-step water selection and heating begins your tea ritual. Fill your kettle with fresh, filtered water. Don't use water that's been sitting in the kettle from yesterday, as it will have lost oxygen and accumulated any minerals or impurities from the kettle itself. As the water heats, gather and prepare your spices. This mindful beginning to the process sets an intentional tone for the entire preparation. Spice preparation is where attention to detail pays dividends. Slice fresh ginger thinly to maximize surface area. You don't need to peel organic ginger, as the peel contains beneficial compounds, but do peel conventionally grown ginger to avoid pesticide residues. If using dried ginger, measure it out but don't add it yet. Take your cinnamon stick and, if it's particularly thick or long, break it into smaller pieces. Crush your cardamom pods lightly, using the flat side of a knife or a mortar and pestle. You want to crack them open to expose the seeds, but not pulverize them. Measure out your tulsi or cloves. Infusion process follows a specific sequence for best results. Place the ginger and cinnamon in your teapot or directly in a small pot if you're simmering. Pour the hot water over them. Add the crushed cardamom pods. Let these steep for 5 to 7 minutes. These are the spices that benefit most from longer extraction and higher temperature. Then add your tulsi or cloves, which are more delicate and benefit from slightly less extraction time. Let everything steep together for another 5 to 10 minutes, covered to prevent volatile oils from escaping with the steam. Straining and serving should be done while the tea is still quite hot but not boiling. Use a fine mesh strainer to remove all the spice particles. Nobody wants to drink gritty tea or accidentally bite into a clove. Pour the strained tea into your cup. Some people like to cover the cup for another minute or two to let it cool slightly and allow the compounds to fully integrate. The tea should be aromatic, warming, complex in flavor, but balanced. No single spice should dominate. Mindful consumption transforms this from a mere beverage into a practice. Don't drink the tea while scrolling your phone, watching television, or rushing around. Sit down with it. Hold the warm cup in your hands and appreciate the aroma rising with the steam. Take the first sip slowly, noticing all the layers of flavor: the warmth of ginger, the sweetness of cinnamon, the aromatic brightness of cardamom, the grounding notes of tulsi, or the spicy bite of cloves. Drink it slowly enough to notice how it makes you feel: the gentle warmth spreading through your body, the subtle lift in energy or calm in your mind. This attentiveness to the experience is part of what makes the tea medicinal. The first infusion rule. Energy in the morning from the first steeping makes this timing ideal for most people. The first infusion of the spices yields the highest concentration of stimulating, warming compounds. Drinking this in the morning provides gentle energy, activates metabolism and digestion for the day ahead, and supports mental clarity. The warming effect helps counter the natural coolness and sluggishness that many people experience upon waking, especially in colder months. Having this tea on an empty stomach, about 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast, allows maximum absorption and begins the digestive process so you're ready to properly process your first meal. Calming in the evening comes from the second or sometimes third infusion if you reuse the spices. After the first steeping, the spices can be steeped again with fresh hot water. The second infusion is milder, with more of the calming, balancing effects and less of the stimulating warmth. This makes it ideal for afternoon or early evening drinking. It provides comfort and gentle warmth without interfering with sleep. Some people find the second infusion especially helpful for winding down from the day, while still getting therapeutic benefits from the spices. Multiple infusions from the same spices are not only economical, but provide different benefits at different times of day. Most of these spices, especially when using whole forms like cinnamon sticks, cardamom pods, and whole cloves, can be steeped 2 to 3 times. The first steeping extracts the most potent compounds. The second extracts gentler constituents and provides milder flavor. A third steeping is quite light, but still pleasant and beneficial. Save your used spices in a small jar in the refrigerator between infusions. They'll keep for a day or two. This practice honors the zero-waste principle while maximizing the value you get from your ingredients. Changing properties throughout the day from multiple infusions creates a natural rhythm. Morning's vigorous first infusion provides activation and warmth. Afternoon's gentler second infusion offers sustained support without overstimulation. Evening's very mild third infusion, if you choose to make one, can be almost like a calming herbal tea with just whispers of the spices remaining. This rhythm mirrors the natural energy cycle of the day and supports your body's changing needs from morning vitality through evening relaxation. Variations for seasons. Summer cooling version acknowledges that the warming nature of these spices, while beneficial, might feel too hot during intense summer heat. In hot weather, use the same spices but in slightly reduced quantities, maybe 3/4 of the usual amounts. After steeping, let the tea cool to room temperature or even refrigerate it to drink cool or over ice. You can also add a few fresh mint leaves during the final minutes of steeping for additional cooling effect, or a squeeze of lime, which is cooling in nature. The benefits remain, while the thermal effect is modified to suit the season. Winter warming blend leans into the heating qualities when they're most needed. In cold weather, increase the ginger and cinnamon slight, maybe add an extra ½ inch of ginger and an extra inch of cinnamon stick. You can also let the tea simmer gently rather than just steeping, which extracts more warming compounds. Some people like to add a small piece of black pepper or a pinch of cayenne for extra heat during winter, though this isn't traditional in the monastery formula. Drink the tea as hot as comfortably possible to maximize the warming effect from within. Spring detox modification supports the body's natural tendency to cleanse and renew as winter ends. In spring, you might reduce the sweet, heavy spices slightly and add more of the lighter, bitter elements. Use the standard spice amounts, but consider adding dandelion root or a small amount of turmeric to support liver detoxification. Fresh tulsi is ideal in spring if available, as its cleansing properties align with the season. Some traditions also add a small amount of fresh lemon juice to spring tea to enhance its purifying effects. Autumn Immune Boost recognizes that fall is when immune support becomes crucial as cold and flu season approaches. During autumn, emphasize the antimicrobial spicy cloves instead of tulsi, or use both. You might add a small amount of fresh thyme or oregano, both powerful immune supporters. Some people like to add a thin slice of fresh turmeric root in autumn for its immune-modulating effects. Slightly increase the ginger as well, since its immune-supporting properties are particularly valuable as the weather cools and viral illnesses become more common. Enhancement options. Raw honey addition requires specific timing to preserve its beneficial enzymes and compounds. Never add honey to boiling or very hot tea, as heat destroys many of honey's therapeutic properties. Wait until the tea has cooled to drinking temperature warm, but not hot to the touch before stirring in raw honey. 1 teaspoon per cup is usually sufficient for light sweetness and medicinal benefit. Raw, local honey is ideal as it may help with seasonal allergies and contains the full spectrum of beneficial compounds. Regular processed honey is less beneficial, but still adds pleasant sweetness if raw isn't available. Lemon or lime can be added for additional vitamin C, enhanced flavor, and alkalizing effects despite being acidic in nature. Add fresh squeezed lemon or lime juice after the tea has finished. Steeping and cooling, slight about half a lemon or lime per cup of tea. The citrus brightens the flavors, makes the tea more refreshing, and may enhance the absorption of certain compounds from the spices. In Ayurvedic tradition, lime is considered more cooling than lemon, making it ideal for summer variations, while lemon works well year-round. Other synergistic herbs can be experimented with once you're familiar with the base formula. Black pepper, while quite warming, dramatically increases the absorption of many beneficial compounds. Just a couple of whole peppercorns or a small pinch of fresh ground pepper can enhance the tea's effectiveness. Fresh turmeric root provides powerful anti-inflammatory benefits and combines beautifully with these spices. Fennel seeds add digestive support and a pleasant, slightly sweet flavor. Licorice root adds natural sweetness and adaptogenic properties, though it should be used in moderation and avoided by people with high blood pressure. What not to add is as important as what to include. Avoid adding milk or cream, as the proteins bind with the polyphenols and other beneficial compounds in the spices, reducing their bioavailability and therapeutic effects. If you prefer a creamy texture, use coconut milk or another plant-based milk after the tea has been steeped and strained. Don't add refined sugar. It creates inflammation and blood sugar instability that counteracts the benefits you're seeking from the tea. Avoid artificial sweeteners, which may disrupt gut bacteria and have their own health concerns. Keep additions simple and natural to preserve the tea's medicinal integrity. Daily ritual creation. Best times to drink vary by individual constitution, but generally follow certain patterns. For most people, the primary serving is first thing in the morning, 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast on an empty stomach. This allows maximum absorption and starts the day with intention and nourishment. A second serving can be mid-morning if you're using the same spices twice, or mid-afternoon around 2 or 3 when energy naturally dips for many people. Avoid drinking the first infusion version late in the day if you're sensitive to stimulating effects, though the gentle second or third infusion can be pleasant in early evening. Empty stomach versus with food creates different effects. Drinking the tea on an empty stomach, as mentioned, allows for maximum absorption of beneficial compounds without competition from food. The spices also activate digestion and prepare your system for the meal to come. However, some people with very sensitive stomachs find the warming spices uncomfortable on an empty stomach, especially initially. If this is you, having a few bites of food first or drinking the tea with breakfast is perfectly acceptable. You'll still receive significant benefits. just potentially slightly reduced absorption of some compounds. Mindful consumption throughout the day helps you learn how the tea affects you personally and develop intuition about when and how much to drink. Keep a simple journal for the first few weeks, noting when you drink the tea, how much, and what effects you notice: energy levels, digestion, mood, sleep quality, any changes in chronic conditions. This isn't about obsessive tracking, but about developing awareness. Over time, you'll naturally learn your optimal timing and dosage without needing to think about it consciously. The tea becomes a thread of consistency and care that runs through your day, a repeated reminder to pause, to nourish yourself, to bring attention to your body and its needs. This regularity creates a rhythm that supports overall health in ways that extend beyond the biochemical effects of the spices themselves. Though those are substantial, you're creating a practice of self-care, a daily ritual that says, "I am worth this time and attention." This medicine is simple but profound, accessible but transformative, ancient but perfectly suited to modern life. The longevity lifestyle, timed fasting, the noon meal rule, why monks stop eating after noon, relates to both practical and physiological factors that enhance health and longevity. In Buddhist monasteries, following the strictest interpretations of the Vinaya rules, monks eat only before noon, taking their last meal or snack before the sun reaches its zenith. This practice, which at first seems extreme, actually aligns remarkably well with what modern science is discovering about metabolic health, circadian rhythms, and the benefits of extended fasting periods. The traditional reasoning behind the noon cutoff involves reducing the heaviness and sluggishness that can follow eating, especially eating later in the day. Monks observed that late eating interfered with evening meditation practice and sleep quality. On a deeper level, the practice cultivates discipline and reduces attachment to food and sensory pleasure. But beyond these traditional explanations, there are substantial metabolic benefits. When you stop eating by early afternoon, your body has many hours to complete digestion and shift into fat-burning and cellular repair modes before sleep. This extended fasting period each night amplifies the health benefits of daily eating patterns. Digestive system rest and repair becomes possible when you give your body adequate time without food. Digestion requires enormous energy-diverting blood flow to the digestive tract, activating countless enzymes, engaging immune responses to food antigens, and managing the absorption of nutrients while blocking toxins. When you eat late at night, your digestive system is still working hard during hours when it should be resting and repairing itself. This chronic digestive burden contributes to gut inflammation, impaired nutrient absorption, and various digestive disorders. By finishing eating by early afternoon, you give your digestive system a full 18 to 19 hours of rest before breaking fast the next morning. Evening tea and honey tonic replaces solid food in the traditional monastery evening routine. Afternoon, monks may drink tea, sometimes with a small amount of honey, which provides gentle energy and comfort without the digestive burden of food. This practice can be adapted for modern life. Even if you don't feel ready to adopt the noon eating cutoff, you might experiment with having a light dinner earlier than usual, then only consuming the longevity tea with perhaps a teaspoon of honey in the evening if needed. This provides warmth, trace nutrients, and a sense of satisfaction without requiring significant digestion. Modern intermittent fasting comparison reveals that monks were practicing time-restricted eating centuries before it became a popular health trend. Current research on intermittent fasting shows that limiting eating to a window of 8 to 10 hours daily, with at least 14 to 16 hours of fasting, provides numerous benefits: improved insulin sensitivity, enhanced fat burning, increased human growth hormone production, better cellular repair through autophagy, reduced inflammation, improved brain health, and potentially extended lifespan. The monastery practice of eating only before noon creates an even narrower eating window, potentially amplifying these benefits for those who can sustain it. Implementation strategies for modern life recognize that most people can't or won't adopt the strict noon cutoff, but you can experiment with progressively earlier dinners, Start by moving dinner 1 hour earlier than your current habit. If you usually eat at 7, try 6. After a week or two, move it another hour earlier if possible. Even eating your last meal by 5 or 6 in the evening creates a substantial overnight fasting period. If social obligations require later eating occasionally, that's fine. The benefits come from consistency most days, not perfection. You might also try the full monastery practice 1 day per week, perhaps on weekends, as an occasional deeper fast that resets your system. The 30-day challenge. We invite you to commit to a 30-day journey that could transform your health and relationship with food. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistent practice and mindful attention to how these ancient principles affect your unique body and life. Breaking this into weekly phases makes the challenge feel manageable rather than overwhelming, and allows you to build habits progressively rather than trying to change everything at once. Week 1 focuses on establishing the tea ritual as your foundation. Your only commitment this first week is to prepare and drink the 4-spice longevity tea each morning. Don't worry about any other changes yet. Just master this one practice. Prepare your tea mindfully using the method we've outlined. Sit with it without distraction, and notice how it makes you feel throughout the day. Pay attention to your energy levels, digestion, mental clarity, and any other effects you observe. Keep your expectations realistic. Some people notice immediate effects, while others need several days for changes to become apparent. Week 2 adds mindful meal preparation using the first 3 kitchen rules. Continue your daily tea practice, and now bring the principles of treating ingredients like your own eyes, practicing zero waste, and seeing your cooking pot as your own head into your meal preparation. This doesn't mean completely overhauling your diet, just bring more awareness and reverence to how you prepare whatever you're already eating. Notice how this shift in attention changes both the cooking process and how the food tastes. Many people report that their usual meals become more satisfying and nourishing simply through being prepared with greater care. Week 3 introduces the 5-color, 5-taste approach to your meals. By now, your morning tea ritual should feel natural, and you've been practicing mindful cooking for a week. This week, start checking that your daily meals include representation from all 5 colors and all 5 tastes. You don't need to get all 5 in every single meal. You can balance across the day. Use the meal planning guidance provided to make this easier. Notice whether you feel more satisfied after meals, whether your cravings change, and whether you experience improved energy or digestion from this more balanced approach to eating. Week 4 completes the integration by adding time-restricted eating and the 3 minds practice. This final week, you're combining everything: morning tea, mindful preparation with the 3 minds, 5-color and 5-taste meals, and experimenting with eating your last meal earlier than usual, ideally by early evening. This is the most challenging week because you're practicing all elements together, but it's also when the cumulative effects become most apparent. People often report feeling dramatically different by the end of week 4 compared to when they started, more energetic, clearer mentally, sleeping better, and feeling a deeper connection to their food and their body.